Today's video is going to be a fun one because we're going to be ranking every single Pokemon specialty set that's ever been released, starting with Dragon Volt all the way to Black Bolt and White Flare. These are the sets without booster boxes, and Pokemon usually releases one or two of these sets every single year. The ranking is going to be purely based off of how good the set is and how good the cards are in the set. So while some of these are pretty rare, like Dragon Volt, I'm not taking rarity into consideration. So first off, with Dragon Volt, unfortunately, this has to go in the trash tier. Yes, this was the first modern specialty set to be released, and it was only found in this 3-pack blister right here. But the cards in this set are all holos, right? There's no EXs, there's no full arts, and all these are relatively affordable. I will, however, put Dragon Volt towards the top of the trash tier because it does have very popular Pokemon like Rayquaza and Dragonite. Next up, we have Double Crisis. This is actually one of my favorite specialty sets. Double Crisis is, of course, based off of Team Magma and Team Aqua, so it has the Groudon and the Kyogre. Both of these are extremely valuable. Similar to Dragon Volt, these packs could only be obtained from this blister pack. This set was notoriously short printed. This was not printed that much back in the day in 2015, which is also why some of these cards are so valuable. The next set on the list is Generations, and this might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I'm putting Generations in the triple S tier. Yes, I think this is one of the best specialty sets that's ever been released. Generations is the OG anniversary set of XY, and it has not only the regular sets but also the Radiant Collection, which is kind of a subset within the Generations main set. The main set has a very valuable Mega Charizard, as well as the legendary birds, a Mega Blastoise, and some really cool holo rares as well, like this Gengar. The Radiant Collection, though, is where it's at, because you have all of these evolutions right here. You have the Sylveon with the Eevee in the background. This is one of the cards I really want for my collection. And then you have Flareon. You have this Mega Gardevoir, which I'm also getting graded as well. And then you have this full art Pikachu. You have a Gardevoir. You have some more evolutions. And then you have some really awesome holos like the Charizard and the Dedenne. And then you go down, and all of these uncommon and common cards are all going for close to $10, which is pretty crazy. That's how you know a set is really good. It's when the commons and uncommons are going for a pretty expensive amount. So Generations, very nostalgic and a very good set overall, so I'm definitely putting it in the triple S tier. Next up is Shining Legends, and I'm between putting Shining Legends in S tier and Amazing, but I'm honestly going to have to put it in S tier. This set doesn't have too many cards, but I think this Secret Rare Mewtwo is one of the best cards that Pokemon has ever released. I was lucky enough to pull this when Shining Legends first came out, and I'm getting it grid with PSA as well. Not only does Shining Legends have the Mewtwo, but it also has some other very popular Shining Pokemon like the Mew, the Rayquaza, right? You have the Jirachi, the Arceus, and a Volcanion and a Genesect as well. So there's a lot of very desirable cards in Shining Legends, and you have Rainbow Rares as well. This is definitely a set to remember, and definitely a set that will appreciate very well in the future as well. Next up is Dragon Majesty, and this is going to go in the OK tier. I wasn't the biggest fan of Dragon Majesty when it first came out, but it's definitely grown on me over the years, right? You have this really cool Ultra Necrozma gold card, and then you have some rainbows and some trainers, but overall, right, this set is not the greatest in terms of its top chase cards. You don't have any alternate arts, you don't have any shiny Pokemon, it's just gold cards, rainbow cards, and trainer cards. But for its time, I think it's definitely still a very solid set, so I'm definitely going to put it towards the top of the OK tier. Next up is Detective Pikachu, and unfortunately this is probably one of the worst, if not the worst specialty set that's ever come out. I know there's always going to be people that like Detective Pikachu, but I'm just personally not a fan of this set. If you just take a look at the set list, right, the total set value is only $40. There's really no value in this set, and even from just a collectability standpoint, right, this set just doesn't have too much going for it. All of these are holos. You have a Charizard that is less than $10, right? You have a Mewtwo, you have Detective Pikachu himself. The Greninja and the Ditto, I guess, are cool, but once again, these are all just normal holo rares. This set is nothing to write home about, and I think it's by far the worst specialty sets in Pokemon. The next set is Hidden Fates, and Hidden Fates is one of the best specialty sets in Pokemon, which is why it's going in the S tier above Shining Legends. The total set value is pretty crazy at over $2,600. And one thing that makes Hidden Fates stand out amongst all of the other specialty sets, and even amongst all of the other Fates sets like Paldean Fates and Shining Fates, is the fact that Hidden Fates has the most amount of Shining Pokemon, especially the most amount of popular Shining Pokemon, right? You have a Shiny Charizard, a Shiny Umbreon, Shiny Sylveon, basically all of the popular evolutions, and then you have a really cool Cynthia full art right here, and then it just keeps on going, right? Any popular Pokemon that you can name, Hidden Fates probably has a shiny version of it. It even has a shiny Greninja, shiny Mewtwo, shiny Lucario, right? There's so many popular shiny Pokemon in this set. Now there's no alternate arts, but I think that's okay. This is definitely one of the best sets of Sun and Moon and one of the best specialty sets that's ever been released. Now we get into the Sword and Shield era with Champion's Path, and it's around this time that Pokemon started releasing a lot more specialty sets than before. Back then in Sun and Moon and XY and Black and White, it was very rare for us to get a specialty set, maybe only once a year, but in Sword and Shield, we basically started getting one every few months. So Champion's Path is gonna go in the okay tier, and the only reason I'm not putting it in trash is because of these two cards right here, the Full Art Charizard V and then the Rainbow Charizard VMAX. Both of these, of course, are very valuable, and I think especially this Full Art Charizard V Shiny is pretty unique in its own. Other than these two cards, this set would definitely fall in the trash tier. There's not much else going for it, but these two cards definitely carry the set. Next up is Shining Fates, and this is kind of the same story. I'm putting it in okay, probably behind Dragon Majesty, but ahead of Champion's Path. Shining Fates also only really has one top chase card, being the Charizard VMAX, and then all of the other cards are not really that valuable at all. However, this is a better opening experience than Champion's Path, which is why I give it a slight edge. But overall, right, this is definitely the weakest Fates set out of Paldean Fates and Hidden Fates. Shining Fates is definitely the weakest out of the three. The third special set in Sword and Shield was Celebrations, which was the 25th anniversary set, and this unfortunately does not really hold a candle to Generations. I think Generations is much better, but Celebrations is not a terrible set by any means, so I'm putting it in the amazing tier. You have the first part of the Celebrations set, which includes the Gold Mew, the cool Pikachu full art, but then Celebrations also includes the really cool classic collection cards that are basically reprints of some very popular nostalgic cards of the past. The main gripe with Celebrations is that everything's just a reprint, and then they have this ugly 25th anniversary stamp on them, but I think in a couple of years we might look past it and these cards will start becoming more and more nostalgic to us, even with this big ugly stamp. The next set is Pokemon Go, and I'm also going to have to put Pokemon Go in the trash tier, above Detective Pikachu but below Dragon Vault. Sword and Shield was really not known for its specialty sets. I would say all of them are pretty weak except for the one I'm getting to next, but Pokemon Go was definitely one of the weaker ones. Not a lot of people liked this Mewtwo V. The artwork just doesn't really look that great, and then you just have a few more Rainbow Rares and some gold cards. There's not too much in this set other than this Mewtwo. However, Sword and Shield ended off with a really good specialty set, being Crown Zenith, and this has to go in the triple S tier. I've talked a lot about Crown Zenith in the past, and I've talked about how undervalued I still think this set is. Booster packs for this set are still less than 15 bucks, and I think overall this set is still very affordable, and I think a lot of the cards are still very undervalued as well. You of course have the gold cards that are all alternate art gold cards. We've never really seen this before, and then you have a Mewtwo V-Star that's battling the Charizard. This is an extremely amazing looking card, and then it just keeps on going, right? This set is so deep, and it even has some really cool illustration rares as well. In terms of the amount of cool chase cards in the set, this has to be up there with the likes of Prismatic. The artwork in this set is amazing, the cards in this set are amazing, the value is amazing. This set is just amazing as a whole, and I think it's definitely one of the best specialty sets that's been released, so triple S tier for Crown Zenith. Now we finally get into the Scarlet and Violet era, and this was definitely an era with a lot of specialty sets, as you guys can see here. And the first one released was 151, and 151 of course has to go in the triple S tier. There's really not much else to say about 151. I've raved about it in the past. This is obviously one of the best sets released in the Scarlet and Violet era, and the value, right, the total set value doesn't really do the set justice. It's not often you get a modern set that's based off of nostalgic Pokemon, and to get a set based off of the original 151 Pokemon, come on. This set is still very affordable in my opinion, right? You have booster bundles going for under $100, right? You have packs basically going for under $15 a pack. I still think this is a really good pickup, and it's definitely one of the strongest specialty sets that's ever been released by Pokemon. Next up is Paldean Fates, and this is a really close call. I really wanted to put it in triple S tier, but I'm going to have to put it in just normal S tier, right? That doesn't mean this is a bad set at all. No, this is one of the best sets of the era, one of the best specialty sets ever released. As an investment, I absolutely love Paldean Fates as an investment, right? I actually have a lot of Paldean Fates because I believe in the set long term, and I think Paldean Fates and Hidden Fates could easily be in triple S tier, but I just can't have every single set be in triple S tiers, which is why I moved them down to S tier. But don't get me wrong, these are both very good sets. Paldean Fates specifically has 3 of the best special illustration rares I have ever seen, and the rest of the set is also very solid as well, having a lot of these popular shiny Pokemon like the Charmander, the Snorlax, and the Ditto. I think this will definitely be a set to be remembered for years and years to come. The next set is a set that might not be remembered for years and years to come, which is Shrouded Fable. Now this is going in the OK tier. This is a set that's very similar to something like Dragon Majesty in my opinion, right? Shrouded Fable never really got a reprint. Dragon Majesty also didn't really get a reprint, but there's still some solid cards in the set. The main standout for Shrouded Fable is the illustration rares in the set. It has some of the better illustration rares in Scarlet and Violet, like the Persian, the Houndoom, the Duskull line, right? There's definitely some solid cards in Shrouded Fable, but overall as a set, there's not really that top chase card, right? That $200 plus chase card that everyone's chasing in the set, and that's going to really hold it back long term from not only a collecting standpoint, but also from a value standpoint and from an investing standpoint, right? I wouldn't really invest heavily into a set like Shrouded Fable, maybe pick up a PCTB or two, but overall, I don't think the set is that investable. And as a collection, if you like kind of that dark Halloween theme, I guess this is definitely the set for you because it has a lot of those cards, but overall, not the greatest set in the world. Now we get to Prismatic Evolutions, and quite easily, this is going in the triple S tier. Now I'm going to reorder all of these towards the end of the video so I can give you my exact rankings, but Prismatic, definitely one of the stronger sets in the triple S tier, so I'm going to put it at the very top for now. I'm not going to go into all of the cards in Prismatic because I basically go over Prismatic in every single one of my videos, but yeah, every single evolution, tons and tons of other special illustration rares. This is definitely a set for the ages and the best set of Scarlet and Violet. And finally, we get to Black Bolt and White Flare, and I'm putting both of these in the S tier. I don't think there's too much to say about Black Bolt and White Flare other than there's just so much depth, right? So many unique looking cards. And I think both of these sets are going to be very nostalgic in the future. And I have a sneaky suspicion that both of these sets won't really get reprinted that much. Most of the reprints are going to go towards Prismatic, go towards 151, and I don't think Pokemon's going to use all the resources on Black Bolt and White Flare, so these could be a sneaky good investment in the future. Now let's go ahead and reshuffle some of these sets. So yes, I do think Prismatic is the best specialty set that's ever been released, and then closely followed by Crown Zenith. I think Crown Zenith is a close second, and then I would have to say 151 is next, followed by Generations. And then when we get to the S tier, I'm going to say Hidden Fates is slightly better than Paldean Fates, but honestly both of these can be interchangeable. If you want to say both of these Fates set belong in triple S tier, I would honestly be fine with that. I think these sets are very solid. And the Shining Legends I'm going to put above Black Bolt White Flare, but it's probably just the nostalgia talking. In reality, I think Black Bolt White Flare are probably both better sets than Shining Legends, but I'll put it here for now. And then we get to Double Crisis and Celebrations. I think this is fine. Double Crisis is definitely the better set in my opinion. Dragon Majesty, I would say, is the top of the OK tier, and then I would move Champion's Path below Shrouded Fable. I'm actually going to put Shrouded Fable above Shining Fates because I think Shrouded Fable has a little bit more depth to it and more interesting cards. And then in the trash tier, I think this is the perfect ranking. Dragon Volts, because of not only nostalgia, but also it has some really cool holos of popular Pokemon. So that's the rankings, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.